Hey, what's up, tubers? It's Tony, and today we're going to be discussing airbag trouble code B as in Bravo 2984, which stands for deployable steering column circuit is open. It either means that you have a short in the wiring system that runs to this sensor that sits on top of your steering column, or the sensor itself is bad and needs to be serviced or replaced. This is an '06 Ford Explorer, guys, so very unlikely that you're going to find these sensors new out there, but there are many companies that will fix all safety items that you need to have fixed, including these sensors. And I'm going to give you that list right quick. There are all the companies around the country that I am aware of that will fix any and all safety items on your vehicle. Now, my airbag light was on because of this code, and I know why, guys. I had an accident, struck a deer back in January 2023, bought the vehicle back from the insurance company because there was minor damage. Let me tell you the things you're going to need to fix in the event that you are in an accident and decide to buy the vehicle back because you believe that you can fix it up. Well, first will be driver's airbag. You can go to any junkyard and purchase a driver's airbag. As long as it's not blown, you know that it's good. Passenger airbag, okay? If someone was sitting in the driver's seat and the passenger seat and they were wearing their seat belts at the time of the accident, those seat belts got destroyed. There's a cord in the seat belt that will wind up, so you'll need to either go to the junkyard and find replacements, or you can send those out to any one of these companies here and they will fix them for a fee. I simply went to the junkyard. You will need to replace the crash sensors. There are two crash sensors on the front of this Ford Explorer. You would have two crash sensors on whatever vehicle you drive as well. You could either buy them brand new online, or you can send them out again to one of the many places on this paper that will fix those. Most importantly, on the Ford Explorer, you will need to access and remove the airbag control module, which sits at the bottom of this console. You'll have to remove the console, and in that module there is crash data stored. You must send it out to one of these companies to have that crash data removed, or you'll never get the airbag light off. I used myairbag.com. They were quick, fast, and the price was really good. Got me my module back in about 2 or 3 days tops. Okay, and everything worked fine, but I could not get the code B2984 to go away, and I really didn't feel like fooling with it, guys, so I left it alone. Remember, the accident was January of last year. I had the car back up and running by like March, but I just didn't feel like fooling with that code. So this week I started dipping into it, and when I examined that code, it led me to this sensor, which is located on top of the steering column, okay? And when your vehicle is in an accident, this little red pin will be deployed for whatever reason. MyAirbag.com says that they can fix it. Let me tell you what I did, guys. I simply went to the junkyard, and I think they want like $150 or somewhere around there to fix it. I simply went to the junkyard, removed another sensor from a Ford Explorer like mine's, installed it, and guess what? My light went out. I don't have a light. I'm at the junkyard, guys, but my light went out. I scanned the vehicle. There are no codes, okay? So I fixed everything. So I'll leave that up to you. You could either send it out to one of the many companies that fix safety items, or you can do what I did, but I'll leave that up to you. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to show you all this. On the steering column, this sensor and this plate sits, and see that little pin? It must be sticking out. When it doesn't stick out, that's what sets your airbag light off, okay? That pin should be sitting just like this with the head of it up, and that will turn your light off, okay? So, tools you will need to do this job: a 7mm 1/4 inch socket. You'll need a 1/4 inch 5.5 millimeter socket. You'll need a 1/4 inch ratchet. You'll need a 14 millimeter 1/2 inch socket, driver, and ratchet. And I believe that is it. You won't need to disconnect any wires or anything of that nature. Just remove a couple of panels. So I'll show you that right quick, and then we'll drop the steering column, and I'll show you where this sensor sits and how to disconnect it. You can see the sensor's electrical connector from up under the steering column, but don't try and disconnect it from there, guys. You'll never get it loose. I broke mines, and then I had to come to the junkyard and cut off a wire and spice it up, and it works fine. But hold tight. Okay, guys, to get to the steering column and drop it, you're gonna need to remove this panel. 7 millimeter, 7 millimeter. This just pops off. Place it to the side. You're gonna see this bracket there, 7 millimeter, 7 millimeter. Place that to the side. Break this 7 millimeter loose, one on the other side. Okay. You can raise the steering column up and down as needed so that you can get this out. But when you go to pop this up, be careful. It just pops out of place. On the right side, there is an electrical connector. It's green, and you want to push down on that green tab to release it. And then there's a black hose connected. Just pull the hose off, and then you can pull this out of your way. So right here would be a green electrical connector connected. Push down on the green tab and pull it away, and you can pull this up and out of your way. Remember to adjust the steering column up and down as needed. Then there are 3 5.5 millimeter screws for this bottom cover that you'll need to break loose. Then you can take a trim panel tool or something and wedge between there and separate the bottom and the top part from each other. Okay, just that easy. Place that to the side. Before you start this job, you want your steering wheel to be straight, guys, and I'm going to show you why in a moment. There's a 10 millimeter bolt right there that you'll need to break loose. If your steering wheel wasn't straight, that bolt will be in a position where you can't get to it, so make it straight. For those of you who are not savvy with cars, doing this for the first time, I advise you to take a magic marker, make a little mark here and a matching mark right there, so you know that they need to line up, and that'll help you get this part in and that bolt in. Once you drive this back in, put your bolt in, get it started. You don't really need to tighten it just yet. Then there are 4 14 millimeter 1/2 inch nuts that you'll need to remove. I'm sorry, you'll need to remove the 4 14 millimeter nuts. Bring that there. One there, one there, one there, and one there. So I'm going to go ahead and break that bolt loose first, and then I'll break loose the 4 14 millimeter nuts. And when you break those 4 14 millimeter nuts loose, the steering column will want to fall down, but you want to make sure it falls down evenly. Otherwise, it has the tendency to rest on these threads holding it up. So hold tight. So see how turning the steering wheel a little bit allowed me to really get to that bolt. And then you can go ahead and remove it. And then what you want to do is turn your steering wheel back straight, and then go ahead and drop those 4 nuts. Okay, guys, all that's left is to drop this last 14 millimeter nut and watch the steering column fall down. Be careful, okay? And what you want to do is just let it rest on the seat as best you can. And now you can pull the steering column forward. Okay, make sure that it, see what I was saying about getting hung up on those screws back there or those threads. You want to make sure it comes down evenly. Okay, and now you can pull it towards you, and that's where your sensor will sit. So hold on. I've already been to this vehicle once, guys, but that's where your sensor will sit. Don't try and disconnect it from back there. You're going to see 6 T25 screws like this. Okay, go ahead and break those loose, and then you can pull this plate out of the way. Paying special attention to how the plate looks. You want to put it back in the same way. And with that sensor sitting up the head, that's what turns off your light. So if you look back here and you see that sensor pushed down, especially if you were involved in an accident and that little red pin is pushed out, then you know that's why you have code B2984, okay? So remove this plate. You can then just grab the sensor and electrical connector. There's nothing else holding it down. To get it loose, there are 2 little black tabs that you must push in, and then you can separate them. Do not squeeze in the yellow part. I've already done that and broken mines, and I had to come back to the junkyard and cut off an electrical connector and wire it up, and it works just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this sensor for you. So there it is, guys. Just take your time squeezing those connectors. You can break the sensor free. And remember, to fix my problem, all I did was come to the junkyard, find another vehicle that's a Ford Explorer like mine's. I removed this sensor, installed it, and it turned off my light. Okay? So, put your new sensor in, or you can send it out to one of the many companies that will repair these. Again, I have no idea what they do, but they state that they will repair them for you for about 130 to 150 bucks. Or you can go to the junkyard. I'll leave that up to you. When you get your new sensor, everything goes back together in the reverse order that you are going to use to take it apart. Put your sensor in place, connect the electrical connector, put your plate back on, put your 6 T25 Torx screws back in, and then the next thing you want to do is thread that part back in down there. Okay, and I'm going to do that just to show you that it works. So guys, get this screw started, tighten it by hand as tight as you can get it, then simply push up on the steering column and get yourself one of the screws and get it started to hold it, and then go ahead and tighten those up. So in the end, guys, you want to make sure that that nut is really on tight. Put your 4 14-millimeter nuts back in, okay? Make sure that they are in, and then you can go ahead and put all your plastic and stuff back on. I'm at the junkyard, guys. I'm not going to waste time with all that stuff. And that's how you fix the code B as in Bravo 2984. So now let me show you how you test the wiring for that, which I forgot to do, but I can do it from here just to kind of give you an idea. Hold tight. I almost forgot about this part, guys. So the electrical connector for that sensor, it has 2 prongs in it, guys, and hold on. All right, folks, I apologize. So what I did was I just cut the actual electrical connector off so you can see. To test the wiring, guys, here's what you're going to need: a scan tool that reads airbag codes. You want to clear all the codes from the system first. Then what you're going to do is create a jump. It's where you take 2 wires just like this, or I actually recommend that you use a paper clip, both ends of a paper clip. Gently insert those down into the head of the electrical connector for that sensor. Then what you want to do is start the car, let it run for a few minutes, and then scan it again. If you come up with code B as in Bravo 2987, then that tells you that your wiring to the electrical connector back to the module or computer is good, and then your problem would be with the sensor itself. Then you can send it out to one of the many places that service safety items, or look for buying a new sensor depending on what year, make, and model car you drive, etc. And that's basically how you test the wiring, guys. It's really easy. Hope the video has been helpful, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time.